All right, so today we're starting the 7th grade book. That's the reason why it says chapter, it says chapter 7.1, but this means the 7th grade book, chapter 1. Does everybody see that? Okay. So this is chapter 1, lesson 1, rates in the 7th grade book. Okay? It says you can take a person's pulse by placing your middle and index finger on the underside of their wrist. Choose a partner and take the pulse for 2 minutes. Now you guys only did yourselves, so we're just going to use your data, okay? So it says record the results in the diagram below. So who would like to volunteer their data? All right, so Anya got 120 beats in 2 minutes. Number 2 says use the results from exercise 1 to complete the bar diagram and determine the number of beats per minute for your partner. So the number of beats in 2 minutes was 120. And then the number of beats in 1 minute, all you have to do is divide. So when we divide 120 divided by 2, we get 60. Very good. So number 3 says use the results from exercise 1 to determine the number of beats for half a minute for your partner. So half a minute, if I have 60 beats in 1 minute, how do I figure out how many beats in half a minute? So we're going to divide by 2. Very good. So we'll divide 2 here, and we'll divide 2 there. So that's going to give me 30 beats in, we're going to write, well, using this calculation, it would be 0.5 minutes, right? Half a minute, which we all know that half a minute is 30 seconds. Very good. So we could also rewrite this as 30 beats in 30 seconds. All right, so here we're going to find a unit rate. You guys, we've talked about unit rates before. A unit rate is a ratio or a rate that has been simplified to what in the denominator? 1 unit in the denominator. A ratio compares 2 quantities. If you, let's see, with different kinds of units, it's called a rate. When you found each other's pulse, you are actually finding a heart rate, which is beats per minute. So they're comparing the number of beats to the number of minutes. So here, oh look, this is the one we used. Here we have 160 beats in 2 minutes. Okay, when a rate is simplified so that it has a denominator of 1 unit, it's called a unit rate. Okay, so here we just divided the top and the bottom by 2 to make 2 minutes into 1 minute, and then 160 becomes 80. So here are some common unit rates. Miles per hour, you've seen those on the speed limits. Miles per gallon, that's how many gallons your car can get. Price per pound when you're shopping. Those are common unit rates. So for this example, it says Adrienne biked 24 miles in 4 hours. If she biked at a constant speed, how many miles did she ride in 1 hour? So here it was 24 miles in 4 hours. When you're working with these, you're going to write them as A over B. So you're going to write 24 miles over 4 hours. You must write your units. Okay? Remember, just the same as we did at the beginning of the school year, you writing your units with unit rates is extremely important. If you don't write your units, you'll get points taken off, okay? So here we have 24 miles in 4 hours. Now we want to change that to a unit rate by making 4 hours into 1 hour. So to make 4 into 1, we just divide by 4. So 4 divided by 4 is 1, and if I divide by 4 in the denominator, I do the same thing in the numerator. So 24 divided by 4 is 6. So the unit rate for Adrienne's biking is 6 miles in 1 hour. And it's as simple as that. Is everybody clear? All right, so for the got it problem, we want to find each unit rate and we want to round to the nearest hundredth if necessary. Okay, so for letter A, we have $300 for 6 hours. So we're going to write this as a fraction. So we're going to write $300 over 6 hours. Now, how do I make 6 hours from the denominator? How do I make that into 1? Divide by 6. Very good. So we're going to divide by 6 here, and we're going to divide by 6 up there. So we end up with 300 divided by 6 is 50, right? And then 6 divided by 6, of course, is 1. And then that's 1 hour. So that's $50 in 1 hour. Got it? Good. So for letter B, we're going to write it as a fraction again. So that's going to be 220 miles over 8 gallons. Okay, so now, how are we going to change this to a unit rate? Divide by 8. Very good. In the numerator and the denominator. Very good. So I want you to show both numerator and denominator. So in the numerator, 220 divided by 8 is equal to, very good, 27.5. Don't forget your units, miles over 1 gallon. All right, for this example, it says find the unit price if it costs $2 for 8 juice boxes. Okay, so this is a real life situation. So we have $2 for 8 boxes. We want to know how much does it cost for 1 box, right? So we're going to write this as a fraction. So that's $2 for 8 boxes. And then we're going to divide in the numerator and the denominator by 8. So we end up with 0.25 or 25 cents for 1 box. All right, for this example, it says find the unit price if a 4-pack of mixed fruit sells for $2.12. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to write it as a fraction. So we've got $2.12 over 4 packs. Let's say packs. 4 packs. All right, so we're gonna call it juices instead of packs. So how do I change this to a unit rate? We're going to divide the numerator and the denominator by 4. Very good. So when we do that, let's see, $2.12 divided by 4 gives us what? 53 cents. So we're going to write I'm going to write 0.53, because that's how we see it in the store. 0.53 over 1 juice. Is everybody clear? All right, so it says, example 3, the prices of 3 different bags of dog food are given in the table. Which size bag has the lowest price per pound, rounded to the nearest cent? And the nearest cent is to the nearest hundredth, right? So here, all they're doing is they're finding the unit price for each one of them. So this is $49 for 40 pounds. That's $23 and 44 cents for 20 pounds. And there's $9.88 for 8 pounds. Now, do I like the way they showed their work here? No, I do not. Because what is the first thing they're supposed to do? Write it as a fraction. Very good. So once they write it as a fraction, then they're going to show dividing the numerator and the denominator by the denominator to make it into a unit rate to get their unit rate. So which one is the cheapest per pound? the 20-pound bag. It's the cheapest, right? It's the lowest price per pound. So that's the best buy. Is everybody clear with that? All right. So let's do this got it problem together. All right. So Tito wants to buy some peanut butter to donate to the local food pantry. Tito wants to buy as much peanut butter as possible. Which brand should he buy? So in other words, he wants to buy the cheapest one so he can buy the most, right? Okay. So we want to see which one is the cheapest. So here we have for Nutty, we're going to write each one of these as unit rates. Okay, so for Nutty, it's $2.19. $2.19 for 12 ounces. Okay, to change that to a unit rate, we're going to divide by 12. You're going to divide the numerator and the denominator by 12. Very good. Okay. So $2.19 divided by 12 gives you 0.1825 over 1 ounce, right? So how much money is that? 18 cents. Very good. So you're going to write, rather than writing 0.1825, you're going to write 0.18 cents. Is everybody clear with that? All right. So how about for grandmas? GMAs. Okay. So that's $2.79 for how many ounces? 18 ounces. So on this one, we're going to divide by 18 in the numerator and the denominator. Very good. So for GMAs, for grandmas, $2.75 divided by 18 gives us 0.1527, right? And it keeps on, it's repeating, right? But if I'm going to round it to the nearest hundredth, because this is money, right? How much money is that? 15 cents. Fine. All right, correction here. So I wrote the wrong. I wrote $2.75 rather than $2.79. So let's. All right. So $2.79 divided by 18 gives us 1.5. Oopsie. 55, right? So if I'm going to round that to the nearest cent, that's going to be, very good. Good catch. 16 cents. Good. So now we're going to look at B's peanut butter. So that is $4.69. $4.69 for 28 ounces. To change this to a unit rate, we will divide the numerator and the denominator by what? Very good. By 28. Good. So when we do that, $4.69 divided by 28 gives us how much? 0.1675 over 1 ounce. So, because this is money, how much money is that?
17 cents.
Very good. 17 cents per ounce. Okay, I just noticed something up here. What did I forget to do up there? Per ounce. Very good. Make sure you write over 1 ounce. Good job. All right, so for Save-A-Lot, now that's $6.60. $6.60. And that's for 40 ounces. And to change this to a unit rate, we're going to divide by 40. Very good. So we're going to divide by 40 in the numerator and the denominator. And when we do that, $6.60 divided by 40 ounces gives us 0. Very good, 165. And that's per ounce. So, once again, how much money is that? What is it?
17 cents.
17 cents. Now, we're going to have a dilemma here. Okay. Now, dilemma here is we have two prices that are 17 cents. In that case, we have to look to the unrounded version. Is everybody with me? Okay? So, if we look at this, well, actually, there's not really that big of a dilemma because we still have another price that's cheaper than that, right? So, if it was only the 17 cents, then we would look at the unrounded version. So here, between Save-A-Lot and Bees, which one is cheaper? The Save-A-Lot is cheaper. But out of all four of them, which one is cheapest?
Grandma.
Very good. Very good. Did everybody understand what I just said?
Yes.
All right, for the last example, it says Lexi painted 2 faces in 8 minutes at the crafts fair. At this rate, how many faces can she paint in 40 minutes? Now, method 1 is to draw a bar diagram like we did in the warm-up, okay? This method 2 is the method that I prefer, and that is using your fractions, okay? So, we want to know how many faces she can paint in 40 minutes. So, that tells us what our fraction is going to be, right? Faces are what? Per minute, right? Because it says how many faces can she paint in 40 minutes. Is everybody clear with that? So that's how I know what goes in the numerator and what goes in the denominator. So here, we're looking at 2 faces in 8 minutes. That's the original ratio. Then, to change it to a unit rate, we're going to divide the numerator and the denominator by the denominator, 8, and we're going to get 0.25, a quarter of a face in 1 minute. Okay? Now, at that rate, it says at this rate, how many faces can she paint in 40 minutes? So, rather than looking at how many she can paint in 1 minute, then we're going to use our dimensional analysis to change this to 40 minutes. Is everybody clear? So, all we're going to do is multiply 40 minutes, right, times how many she can do in 1. So, 0.25 times 40 minutes gives us 10 faces.